So I just wanted to share just like a personal anecdote with you boys. Obviously, not a surprise that I've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Shocker.
Yeah.
I have come to the conclusion that the Avatar: Last Airbender subreddit is the most open community I have ever seen in my life. Like, we all talk about negative communities, like wrestling community is toxic, the Assassin's Creed community is toxic, League is toxic. I think the Avatar Last Airbender is the most welcoming community I've ever seen. There is no hate that exists on this subreddit. It is I feel so at home here, just like the show. I just wanted to really put that out there with you guys. If you haven't been on the subreddit, it is amazingly welcoming.
So what's the name of the subreddit? Is it just our Avatar?
It's just The Last Airbender. And like I am absolutely infatuated with this show. I am a fully fledged stan. I can't believe I waited this long.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say it's taken you a goddamn while to get there, but
I can't believe. I'm so sorry to my past self. I'm right out there. I'm completely apologetic to my past self because current David timeline is absolutely infatuated with this fucking show. This show needs to be watched by everyone. It is 3 seasons of just purity, absolute purity.
Mm-hmm.
And this subreddit is just like an extension of that. Like, obviously the subreddit's gonna love Uncle Iroh, and who the fuck doesn't, right? They have like an Uncle Iroh quote of the day, all right? And it's I like to start my mornings now with that. If I start my mornings by reading an Uncle Iroh quote in the voice of Marco, who voiced him, I just feel better.
Yeah.
I feel enlightened.
Oh yeah, no, I love Uncle Iroh. Like, he's great, and like what I like about Uncle Iroh is just like in terms of writing, because I mean he starts out basically as the villain. Like he is the villain. He's the accomplice to our big bad in season 1, which is Prince Zuko, and like, but even then, like you want to hate him, but you can't.
But he doesn't. He's only evil by extension of the fact that he's Fire Nation. He as a person is not.
No, he's not just evil by extension that he's Fire Nation, because he's done some shit. And he owns it.
Oh, yeah, he's done some shit. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he's the one who brought the Earth Nation to its knees, or just about. He failed, and that's where, like, he got in trouble. But, like, shit, he's done some shit. But, like, he owns it, and he redeems himself. And, like, that's why, and that's why you can't hate him. Oh, my God. And then he just lives like that. Like, it's not even, like, you can tell, like, he's not trying to, like, live better to, like, make up for the past. He's just living better to live better. And that makes it real. And, oh, man, it's fucking good. Yeah.
I will say the only thing that this subreddit hates, and it's a collective, unanimous hating, unlike other communities where it's like a bit of divide. There is no divide on this. Everyone is on the same page, and it's much like the war in Ba Sing Se. The Avatar movie doesn't exist. Didn't exist.
I haven't seen
it. Doesn't
exist.
Never happened. Never happened. We don't talk about it. Didn't exist.
Nope.
Although I will say, though, the Avatar movie is a path into the TV show for some people, because that's how my dad got into the TV show. He found the movie just like cruising around on Amazon one day, and he was like, oh, what's this? I'll have a look at this. And knowing nothing about the TV show, nothing, like just going into it completely blind, was like, damn, there's some good ideas expressed in this movie. Because like, even if the movie is bad, I mean, Aang is still Aang, you know what I mean? Like, you can't fuck it up that bad.
Don't you mean Ung? They call him Ung the entire goddamn movie.
I've never seen the movie, so I have no idea.
Okay, so they call him Ung.
Hold up. To defend that, you say my last name is Yang. However, it's pronounced Young.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry, dude.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the westernized way of saying it.
Okay, that's fair enough, but when the movie is just a retelling of the material you already have in a TV show, you shouldn't fuck that up.
I agree. If they're ripping from the westernized version of which the show is, I don't know if it's based on obviously Chinese, philosophy and mythology, but I don't know if it's written as a Chinese book, then interpreted in a Western.
It's a purely Western tribute to like anime and Eastern philosophy and Eastern, Chinese and Japanese movies, TV, animation, all that sort of stuff. It's just a pure homage to like the writers and producers of the show grew up as like massive anime fans, and they wanted to do something that like honored that tradition, but over in obviously in America. And like you said, it's a with the subreddit, it's a purely like just everyone's positive there. And the fact that it's a show that managed to bring together people from Western culture that weren't anime fans, and then also people who are massive anime fans, but have gone, this is such a good representation of everything that we love about Eastern culture and Eastern media, that everyone's just like, yep, it just hits every single like thing it needs to hit to be not a ripoff, not a like looking down on that, but it's a perfect homage, and I think adds something to that as well, where it's like, you know, you can have something produced outside of, you know, it's the same with like the spaghetti western or whatever. It's something that is done so well by someone who is a fan and an appreciator of the original medium, that fans of that original medium have to go, yeah, this is exactly, these are all the elements of why we like, you know, thing A represented in thing B. And it's, yeah, you're right. It's such a fucking good show, man. It's so good.
Could not have said it better myself. That is all I wanted to say with this was just that I've stumbled upon the subreddit, and like anyone listening to us right now, if you haven't, I urge you. I was the same for a long time. I really fucking was. I was like, why would I watch Avatar? Like, it's a kid's show. But my conclusion was always, my time has passed for that. Right?
No.
It was not like I was stiffing the show. It was like, well, because it's a kid's show, I don't think it would speak to me. No. Boy, was I wrong.
It's one of those,
that is for everyone.
Yeah, it's one of those like, with parentheses, kid shows that just hits on all these universal themes that are applicable to you at any stage of your life. Like, you know, just like family, honor, you know, a duty, all that sort of stuff. You can apply that to yourself at any point in your life, and you will get something out of a show like this. Like, there's so many, like, once again, parentheses, kid shows that don't softball like these themes and that to kids and adults, and like young adults especially can really appreciate that. And like, I think I watched Avatar for the first time when I was like real early 20s, like 20, 21, 22. And yeah, it hit me real hard back then. Like you said, like when you finished Avatar, it was like, you know, this, you know, it hits you in a certain way. And even like watching it now, like late 20s, it would have the exact same effect, if not even like a slightly different one, because I've had, you know, another 8 years of life experience behind me. But you still get something from shows like this that aren't afraid to, you know, give you these more mature themes, but package it in a way that's also, you know, easily digestible by someone who's like 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Agreed. What a summary.
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of those shows that can kind of like grow up with you. Like the older you get and the better able you are to comprehend some of the larger ideas expressed, you can easily, like, you could have, like, if you, let's say you watched it when you were the key demographic, when you were like 12, you're not going to get everything that's going on in Avatar, but that's fine, because you can go back to it 8 years later as a 20-year-old and rewatch it, and it's a whole new experience. And you'll get a whole new appreciation for for the ideas being expressed. And that's what makes, and there are, and like I feel like the best of the animated shows are ones that do that. I mean, The Simpsons is another example, just in a different way. Like Avatar gives you like serious ideas and serious ways of like approaching the world, where The Simpsons just gives you like different nuances in humor. So like you can watch it as a kid and you're not going to get every joke, and then you come back when you're 20 and you're like, oh shit, this is 30 minutes of dick jokes. Holy fuck, how did I miss this? And so like I feel like, yeah, some of the best media in that way, in that you know, in that area, like does that.
Yeah, I think for me, like the spiritual successor to Avatar in terms of something that has a deeper meaning packaged inside of a kid show is Adventure Time. Like,
really?
I did not start watching that until like it didn't start coming out till I was like well into my 20s. But when I started watching it, and you kind of peel back the layers of, this is a funny 11-minute per episode kid show. That show is so goddamn deep when it comes to like the way it tackles themes of even stuff like death, abandonment. Like it really goes hard, but still manages to do it in a way where you can put your 6-year-old in front of it and you go, yay, Jake the dog, colors, sparkly stuff. But if you're like in your 20s, that show, goddamn, it hits you so hard with some of it, like some of the better episodes that it does. Better explorations of really dark themes than a lot of like more adult media that I've watched. It is like brutally honest in its delivery. So to me, like a show like Avatar, if we didn't have something like that to set a precedent. I don't think a show like Adventure Time would have either existed or done as well as it did, because it just there is this formula out there that a lot of people have sort of latched onto of like, you can put a really mature story, package it in a way that's everyone can sort of appreciate, but those that are a little older and a little wiser can sort of really attach themselves to these themes that are universal across storytelling, but told in a very effective way especially through animation. I think that helps a lot too.
I think there's another one, and I haven't watched it, and just the final point before we jump into the podcast. Gravity Falls, I think, is another one that gets a lot of praise for being a kid's show that has a lot of mature themes. I haven't watched it. It's always been on my list, though.
Yeah, it's on my list as well, especially after I found out that the creator is actually like really good friends with Justin Roiland, who created Rick and Morty. And there's actually a lot of crossover Easter eggs between Gravity Falls and Rick and Morty.
Well, they look very similar in their art style, but they do look similar. Aside from that, that's about it, though.
Yeah, but no, like so I can't remember the name of the guy who created Gravity Falls, but him and Justin Roiland, they sort of agreed at one point when both their shows got picked up that they would put these little Easter eggs in each other's show. And I think Matt Pat from Game and Film Theory hunted most of them down. And there's like this code that he cracked between the two shows, and he's like, there's the potential there for it to be a shared universe and stuff. Obviously, you could never cross over Gravity Falls and Rick and Morty because two very different audiences right there. But yeah, I just think it's really cool that like these two guys who obviously have a very similar style managed to get shows at the same time, and just sort of as a little wink and a nod, we're just like, yeah, I'll put something in your show, you put something in my show, and it's just something for like hardcore fans to go out there and find.
Yeah, is that anywhere to watch, by the way? Like, is that on any streaming services or anything like that?
Gravity Falls is that not a Disney?
It's on Netflix. No, I think it is on Disney Plus, actually.
I think it is a Disney property.
Oh.
Hang on. It is a Disney property.
Right.
Yeah, it was on Disney Channel and Disney XD originally, and then they've moved it across. Because I think it's done now. I think it's over. Yeah, it's it finished in 2016. God damn. Okay, yeah, it's definitely one for me to watch because apparently it's great. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're interested in Avatar: The Last Airbender, all 3 seasons are on Netflix. And Dave recently told me that the sequel show, The Legend of Korra, is all on Stan, which I am now going to reactivate my Stan subscription.
I'm currently on season 3 of Legend of Korra.
Oh shit! Wow, you're smashing through it.
I am. No, but in fairness, Korra only has about 12 episodes per season.
Okay.
It's a shortened run.
It has the exact. I think it has the exact same number of episodes as Last Airbender, but with just an extra season.
Yeah, that's right.
So something like that. I like it. Okay, Korra is different, but far more mature in a lot of ways.
I said it's gonna be. It's not better or worse. It's different. It's a different show.
Yeah, we will do an Avatar wrap up completely when everything is said and the dust is settled.
Yeah,
but for now, that's my wholesome point of the day.
All right, yeah, I'm very interested to see what text message I get after you finish Korra. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so that's on my to-do list, and I got to start Korra so we can do the Avatar podcast. And with that, welcome to Pint Party, a podcast designed to turn a beer and a chat into a tax write-off. I'm your host, John McLeish. Joining me this week is, of course, series regulars Ricki Needs and David Young. Boys, welcome.
I'll pay it. Yeah, now you know.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, because in my culture, I'm gonna say my culture. So it's young, but so obviously you said the last name first. So I'm so used to just whenever I get over into China, I get introduced as Young Dawei, and Dawei being David in Chinese.
Yeah.
And Young, surprisingly enough, but I think there might be people that might correct me, but this is what I've picked up and what I've been told. Young, which is my family's last name, also translates into boss or something.
Oh, God.
I think I might be wrong, or John. Because the only reason I know that is because my father's name is English name is John, so he gets called Young John or something like that. No, he gets called Young John, but I don't think they call him John. So they would call him by his Chinese name. So he gets called Young John. So I'm sitting there going, all right, is John the Chinese for boss or something? Or like Boss Yang? Or it's just a confusing period of time when I'm over there. But thank you, John. It is Young.
Or is it more of a more of an honorific? So is John a, like, instead of saying boss Young, right? Because that sounds like, would it be sort of like the Chinese equivalent of saying Mister or something like that? So like, is that Mister Young or something like that?
No. So, okay, are you talking about the fact that last names are first, or the John part of it?
The John part of it, yeah. Like, is that?
No, I think the way, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, because when it comes to like the speaking of Chinese words, you got to throw a lot of like emphasis here and there, and like the different kind of like ways to flow your words means different, all that kind of gimmick aside. Mm-hmm. I think I'm hearing John every time it gets said. Now, he doesn't go by John in China. He goes by John when he's here, which is his English name.
Yeah.
His Chinese name is Cheng.
Yeah.
Right, which is Cheng Yang. It's just the most Asian name of all time. But they call him Young John or Young Zhong or something like that. I don't know what it is. But I heard it the first time. I'm just like, but there's no way that they're calling you John. It just can't be. There's no way. So I think it translates to boss. That's what I'm.
So essentially, it's the Chinese version of El Chapo in Spanish.
Wait, so what does El Chapo mean in Spanish?
The boss.
Does it actually? Just straight up, it just means the boss.
Pretty sure it does, yeah. El Chapo. Yeah. That was the guy who was the cartel leader or whatever. El Chapo
was a Mexican cartel leader. He's the guy who broke out of the Mexican prison by digging a tunnel.
I know the guy, but does the name translate to the boss?
I have no idea. I know that I know that Pablo Escobar was called Il Patron, which is father, which is
Dad.
Or
daddy.
Yeah. But basically but like, I mean, that's the literal translation, but like basically patron meaning father is more of a religious significance, like a priest. So it was really like a way of like denoting, like a higher status, like they are the boss. And that's why you might also hear them called like padre de padres, so the father of fathers, the boss of bosses, is like another way. So I don't know if Chapo means anything in that.
I was wrong. El Chapo means shorty.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Literally, just shorty.
Yeah,
because he was 5'6". Damn it! I thought it was I swear to God, there was some like drug lord that had like the name just the boss.
Yeah, they're Pablo.
Is that what it was? Just it was daddy or dad.
Yeah, it was or father.
Right,
would be in English.
There
like
you go.
It had like in that connotation of father. That's what I mean. Like it's not like ooh, give me drugs, daddy. No. It's more like it is more in that familial, like honoring, kind of a way of.
So how would you say that sexually in Spanish?
Ooh, papi. That's how you would say it sexually.
Well, say papi instead of patron.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you say papi. Yeah.
See, that's what I wish the Chinese culture had, because I was just like, I know Baba is dad, but I don't think there's anything for daddy. And I think if there is, it's just Baba. I kind of wish there was more of a sexual way of saying like daddy
I guarantee
in Chinese, instead of just going, ooh, Baba.
Look, I guarantee you there is. We just don't know it. Like it's probably. And here's the other thing. Like, it's completely different cultural contexts as well. Like, I mean,
that is so true.
Like, I mean, the Chinese equivalent of saying like "spank me harder, daddy" is probably something completely different. We don't know. It's just that the reason why like Spanish and English have a lot of similarities is because the languages are so similar. They share a root language and all that kind of stuff. And they evolved to, almost like side by side and all that kind of stuff. And, culturally had similar cultural evolutionary traits because of all that kind of social shit. So, yeah. But China didn't have any of that with English. So, yeah, it's probably something else entirely. I have no idea what, though.
I will work this out. Out.
I am keen as a bean to find out. If anybody out there, they're involved in, and you know what? Because here's the other thing, though, right? I mean, it might be that it's different in Mandarin than it is to Cantonese than it is to, like some of the other languages.
Because Mandarin and Cantonese, they use different, they don't use Baba, I'm pretty sure, Canto.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. But so, like, that's what I mean. Like, is it even different amongst, like, in language, or are the cultural similarities so similar that, like, the cultural equivalent of that in Mandarin would be more or less translated kind of the same in Cantonese, just like between English and Spanish?
So I just Google translated "spank me harder, daddy" to simplified Chinese, and it still came up with Baba. So I'm just gonna.
And I just put boss into like the Spanish. It's jefe. How did I not remember?
How did we not know it was jefe?
Is jefe.
See, that's so cool.
It's
I know.
El
jefe is like
fuck.
But actually, as a synonym, patron pops up as well. So,
all right,
it kind of it's kind of the same, just a different sort of way to go about it. But yeah, jefe. How did I not remember jefe? Anyway,
yeah.
Moving on. Son of a bitch.
I just because in my head, for some reason, I'm just imagining dirty talk and like just the saying of Baba. But then they just wouldn't use daddy, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just our Western kink.
That's maybe it is.
We've Westerners just become so like, you know, not desensitized. Desensitize the word. Desensitized to the usage of daddy.
We're all people everywhere. Like, there's got to be someone in China with a daddy kink. There's got to be.
Oh, undoubtedly. But the Western culture has made it such a sexual norm to just go and just like call your significant other daddy.
Yeah, that's true. We've kind of normalized it here, which is definitely not.
I would love to know other cultures' sexual norms.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, I have one story relating to that actually.
Oh, here we go.
It's not like completely filthy. It's this was when I was in high school. It was actually one of my teachers. She was telling me she went to India, you know, for a holiday, just as you do, just having a gimmick, and she was on the train. And she wasn't in. I think this was before they introduced women's only carriages or something. Anyway, she wasn't on a women's only carriage. She was on a carriage with just like other dudes as well and her boyfriend or whatever. And of course, she was in central India, which is quite warm. It's very warm. So she was wearing a tank top. You know, tank top, pants, boots, whatever. Like, you know, if you looked at her walking down the street here in Melbourne on a summer's day, you wouldn't think twice. And so she was standing, and she had to stand on the train because, of course, the train's full. And she had her arm. This is important to the story. She had her arm on one of the like handrails up above your head. I don't know what that's called. That thing, the handrail. Are we having
just railing?
The railing. She had her hand on the railing, right? And of course, and all these blokes were looking at her. Like really like leering at her, and she was like, "What the? Like, y'all ain't never seen a woman before? Like, yes, I'm here. Like, hello, like, come on, what's going on?" And she was really kind of getting weirded out. And her boy, and she would talk to her boyfriend. Was like, "What the fuck's going on?" Her boyfriend was like, "I don't fucking know this is fucking weird, dude. Like, I don't know." And one of the guys actually walks up and says, "Hey, listen, just so you know, the reason why all the dudes are staring at you is because your armpit's exposed." And it's like having a tit out.
Really?
Yeah. So
armpits.
Yeah, armpits.
Okay.
Yeah. And it ain't just in India too. The Japanese have a whole fucking pornographic industry denoted to the armpit. Holy fuck.
Oh, you learn something new when you tune into Pint Party. You really fucking do.
Yeah. And so,
armpit.
Yeah.
Armpit.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. That's a Google.
Listen,
no,
I'm not doing it. Listen, I just want.
You're going to get put on a list.
Some agency in Australia right now is just going, "Oh wait, we just got a ping for armpit porn out in Victoria."
Dave's
on the list with the rest.
Dave's ASIO guy is just looking at you right now and just going. So first he looks up "Spank Me Harder, Daddy" in Mandarin, and now he's looking up armpit porn. Like, where's he going with this? He's not got any other active connections other than to Discord. What kind of fucking kinky shit is he getting up to with his mates?
I'm going to apply for a credit card in a couple of months' time, and I'm going to get fucking red flagged on the system. They'll come back to me and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we've had to reject your call." I'm like, "Why?" Like, your credit history is perfectly fine. So what? It's like, "We just don't cater to your kind." What do you mean, my kind? You, I believe it was on 6th of June 2020 where you Googled armpit porn and "Spank Me Harder, Daddy" in Mandarin. Says a lot about your character there, David.
Like, nah, man, nah. That ain't it, Chief.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I just go. Oh, I wish I could ungoogle it.
What did
Okay, the first thing I saw, slap a not safe for work tag. I'm not going to be pretty descriptive though. Woman has just got a dick between her armpit and going back and forth on it like this and jerking it off.
Oh yeah, righto.
I'm not about that. I'm not about that. Foot fetish is one thing, and then there's just a dude licking the armpit, which I guess is what that porn category would symbolize anyway. But
I mean, actually, you know what? That's pretty tame. I mean, you know,
licking the armpit.
Is it like if you're fetishizing it? Is it any different to licking feet at that point? Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. Is it any different to
look?
I don't understand the foot thing, by the way. I just don't get it. What's like? I've tried like apparently it's super common, but I look at feet and they're just feet. They're just a thing I stand on to keep me balanced, and then they got some toes there that give me pain on occasion because I bash them into shit. Like I
just don't see the desire to want to lick it. Like but in saying that, I don't have a desire to lick much anyway. You know what I mean? Like I'm not looking at a lot of things and going, yeah, I'll lick that.
Yeah. There are some people
why
who
is
like
that
to lick
something that I would look at and just go, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd lick that.
Yeah. No, that's a good.
I look at stuff like that and I just understand. I just realize it's not for me to understand, and then I just move on.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, not putting it down. I just don't. Understand.
Oh yeah, no, like, we're not advocating against it. Right, we're on your side. Right. Yeah. All I'm saying is it's just not for me. It's not.
Yeah. The closest
what you think of, and when you look at stuff and you say I want to lick that is up to you, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. Like the closest I ever got to understanding it, I did see it was like it popped up in like an Ask Reddit thread. People who like feet, like what's the deal? Like I don't understand this. And foot fetishists like jumped in and were just like, it's the shape. And I was like,
really?
What about the shape of the foot? What about the shape of the foot is like doing it for you? And they were like, oh, it's the arch of the foot. It's the the curvature between the ball of the foot leading into the toes and stuff like that. And I went, okay. And then I went and looked up and I just like looked at some feet and I'm just like, Matt, I'm just not seeing it. Like I'm trying. Like I'm trying to like put myself in your shoes, pardon the pun. But like I can't walk a mile in your shoes. I just can't.
Do you reckon the foot fetish would be more or less acceptable if we were walking on our hands? Therefore, our feet were our hands. Do you think there is a layer to the fetish that it is more desirable because we use the feet for walking?
There is definitely a sub fetish for dirty feet. I know that much for sure because that was also discussed in the subreddit. Some people were like, "Bro, I love me some dirty feet, toe jam. Ooh, get me all up in it." Like, there were some people who were like that, but I feel like that can then be applied to like, I don't know. Yeah, I think something of it has to do with that, but I don't think that's like a majority. You know what I mean?
I would like to speak to someone who has both a foot fetish and an armpit fetish. If we could set this up, I'm going to put out some feelers. I'm going to put out some feelers.
Reach out to us.
If our first Pint Party guest, like, external guests that we just have on the show, I would like them to be a foot fetish or armpit fetish person.
Yeah, I feel like we'd probably have more luck with the foot fetish thing because that seems to be a lot more common. But yeah, armpit fetish people, like reach out and like you can talk to us on Instagram at pint.party or you can DM us on Twitter at Pint Party or something like that and just say, hey, like, armpits are my jam and I'm all about it and here's why. We want to know. We really do. So, and you can do it completely anonymously. Like, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna like out you for it or whatever. Like, you know,
it's a safe space.
It's a safe space.
Really, I'm a curious being by nature.
Yeah, we just really want to know what the deal is. Just like, I mean, I remember watching, it was a YouTube video and people were talking about people who have a fetish for big knees. It's like, I want to know what's the deal with the big knee community as well. Like,
big knees.
Big knees. Yeah, big knees. It's like a whole thing. It's
how does one determine a big knee?
Look, I just saw a drawing once, and it was sort of like the drawing of the big knee community, and it was just a drawing of a otherwise ordinary woman, and her knees were like very lumpy. Not lumpy. It's like one big lump. Like where the knee is, like where the joint is, was it was a big lump. That was like protrusive. In the same way that a breast is, I suppose. It's more breast shaped.
Right.
Was the knee, right. I guess. I'm trying to find the words to describe what I saw, and it is difficult. That's the best description I can come
once
up
again
with.
Just it's not for me to understand, and just
I think I've decided what my weird fetish is, and it's literally I was just because while you guys were just talking, I was going back in my mind, and I was just like, what am I into? That's probably not what a lot of people are into, and I'm willing to air it, but I don't think it's that weird. I like a nicely shaved and like sculpted. Hold on. Nicely shaved and sculpted calf muscle.
No, I don't think that's weird.
I like calf muscles.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, How I Met Your Mother did a whole thing on that. That was what was her name?
Lily.
Lily's, yeah, that was Lily's.
It was a whole Marshall stick where he would wear the shorts around. And just like, oh.
And then Lily would just be like, "Oh my god, I want your babies." Yeah.
I'm with you, Lily, on this. I think a nicely sculpted calf is underrated, because I think not only does it show out in a tight pair of jeans or tights, but like it's just a pair of shorts too. Like it really if it's really nicely sculpted, it flows like a wave. You know, it's nice. It's not, you know, edgy, or it hasn't got hard lines, right? I just think that to me speaks to me.
No, it definitely has form. Form was the word. Why was I not saying form? Because we're Pint Party. We forget words all the time. That's what we do. But no, I understand that. Like, I don't have that as like a fetish. Like, I'm not like getting down on some good calf muscle action. But like, I will say, like, the best part of my body, the part that I thought was the best part of my body for a long time, I thought were my calf muscles, because I used to ride bikes like every day for years, and so my calf muscles were like ripped when the rest of me was like not. So for a long time, I used to wear shorts just to show them off, because I was like, damn, I like my calf muscles. And other people would agree. They'd be like, shit, there's some good-looking calf muscles. So no, I totally understand where you're coming from there, Dave.
John, just as an extension of our wholesome hour of power, the thing I really like about you, John, I think you have a nice voice.
Thank you.
I think you have a nice voice, and I think it's especially great for radio and podcasting. You are a pleasure to listen to, John.
Surprisingly, you're not the first person that I've heard say that. It always sounds strange to me, because I listen to myself back in recordings, and I've just gotten used to it. Like, I know a lot of people who edit themselves, and they feel like really cringy. And they go, "Oh my god, I just can't do it." And I just got used to it because, like, you know, just for the sake of having to do it. Like, there was nobody else to do it, so I had to do it. But I still like listen back to my own voice, and I'm like, I sound a bit. I don't want to say, how do I describe what I hear when I listen back to myself? I sound higher pitch than I think I am, but
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not in not in that I think I have a particularly deep voice. Like, I'm not out here, you know, like Barry White, but I definitely think my voice is deeper than it actually is.
That's just everybody.
Yeah.
Because your own voice reverberates in your skull, and therefore it gives it a more bassy tone than you hear it compared to what other people hear.
Yeah. Okay, actually, perfect example then. Ricki, when I hear your voice and the level of depth that you've got, that's what I hear when I talk. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, which you have no context for, because you're only hearing it through your own skull. But like,
exactly.
Maybe Dave now has a better appreciation for what I can hear, for what I'm hearing. But that's pretty much what's going on.
Ricki's voice too. Don't get me wrong. I like Ricki's voice too. Ricki's voice has gravity to it. It's got both, you know, gravity in a sense. It's got like a lot of weight and a lot of like elevation to it, but it's also got a lot of gravel. It's hard. It's a hard voice.
Yeah, if I was going to say somebody had a better voice than me, I would have said Ricki for sure. In fact, I have said that. I think I said that in an episode on my own. Yeah.
My dad always said I had a good face for radio.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Why do you think we're all here?
All right.
Exactly. Why we haven't gone video yet.
All right. So I think I know why Dave's buttering us up, and I think Dave's buttering us up because he wants us to like be nice on him for what we got to talk about now, and that is, so recently Dave put together a little list about the fast food chips tier list, he's called it, and he listed the best chips from S rank to F rank, going full, like, you know, Dance Revolution on the thing, and for the like, I mean, F, I agree with. I think Subway chips are pretty bad. Actually, you know what? Hang on a minute before we get into discussion. Let me say
I've
what's
got the
on
list
the list.
up. I've got the list up. Let me state my claim. All right, let me argue my points.
Yeah,
because I know you guys are going to come at me.
Can you post it in the Discord real quick? Because like I can't remember where did you post it?
It's on my Twitter. All right, so I'll post it in the Discord real quickly. All right, but just for the listeners at home who aren't obviously following along.
I need a reminder, but for the most part, I have one issue with your list, and I'm about to flame you for it.
Okay, hold on. But let me just say my piece, okay? We'll post the list officially onto our Instagram for the people who are listening who want to have a bit, you know, understand where we're coming from. But let me make my claim. One, I am not budging on S and F. I'm not. Schnitz chips at an S rank and Subway at F rank are They're solid. They're concrete. They're not touchable. All right? Especially Subway at F. If anyone has actually touched their chips, it is a criminal usage of potatoes. Criminal usage of potatoes.
Yes.
Okay?
So
potatoes should never be subjected to what Subway has done to a potato.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that for sure. But
now,
let's just list out...
John, I'm not done.
Okay.
John, I am not done.
Sorry.
Okay? Now, the reason I have shits at S, all right, and additionally, I would also like to state positions A through D, they have movement to me. They have movement to me. I am anything you're about to say and anything of the positions through A through D, I would be like, fair enough. Because a lot of the reasons why that they are placed the way they are is based on inconsistency. Now, in saying that, let me go through my list. Schnitz, S rank. Mm-hmm. A rank, I've got Macca's chips. All right, and for the Americans, that's McDonald's. B, Salsas and Nando's. C, Oporto, Hungry Jack's and Taco Bell. D, KFC. E, grilled chips, Red Rooster, and F, Subway. Now, A through D, they can move because of inconsistency. Now, A is where it is because I personally find that the Macca's chip is the most consistent chip comparatively to a lot of the other ones there, especially KFC.
Okay, so what's your criteria?
KFC, when they are on, they are good chips.
Right.
But fuck me, and this is to my point, I shouldn't have to go to a variety of different KFCs for the same product to get a different result. Right? I should be able to go to one, and that should be consistent throughout. Because everyone who has argued that KFC chips are the best chip,
they are.
They've always prefaced it by saying, or have gone a step further and said, well, then you haven't had the best one. You should go to here. That defeats the point of my list.
I've never had to say that to you.
No, so many other people have, Ricki. All right, and it does follow along with a lot of, and I think you can't deny that the KFC chip is not inconsistent. It is.
They are inconsistent in their viscosity and in their the state of the chip when you get it. But the best thing about a KFC chip, and this is why they are S tier for me forever, is there is an evolution of the KFC chip, but at each level, it's still as good as fucking the best KFC chip you've ever had. I will take KFC chips fresh right from the fryer, that chicken salt that's obviously mixed with some sort of PCP or crack that makes it so fucking addictive. It's the same with Macca's chips. Macca's put the whatever's mixed with their salt, and it's not just fucking salt. It's something. It's cocaine. Makes Macca's chips the way they are, and they are solid A rank. But I love KFC chips as much as I do fresh out of the fryer, as the ones that have been sitting under the heat lamp for a little bit too long. And they've gone that little bit soggy.
Oh, disagree. They
are the only soggy chip that I will accept, and there is something about them, and maybe this is because, like, for me, KFC is one, nostalgic, because for the longest time it was the only takeaway we had in Echuca, but B, now my association with KFC is usually after a long night out, the first thing I have when I wake up that next day, I'll get KFC. There's something about the chip when it's been in the packet for a little bit too long and it goes a bit soggy, and it's still a fantastic fucking chip. I can't Ricki, fault it. I cannot fault the KFC
Ricki,
chip.
You've made a great point there. You know what? I will concede to that point. That of all the chips, KFC does have more longevity because they're the only one that goes soggy. It's the only one that can fall into itself and not like become stale or rock hard, right? But obviously it will after a long, long period of time, obviously. But it goes soggy before it does that. I will give you that. And I think that does give it points. And you're right. At the end of the day, if everything falls in line for the KFC chip, all right? If everything falls in line for the KFC chip, it's an A-ranked chip. It's just that it's so inconsistent from my experience for everything to fall in line for the KFC chip. Mostly because it's just never seasoned as much as you think it is seasoned.
Maybe you just go to shit KFCs. Maybe that's your problem.
But that's the fucking problem then, isn't it?
Maybe that's your problem, not the chip's problem.
How the fuck is that my problem? That's a franchisee's problem.
I'm just saying, man. That Primo chip beats it. Also, I have a problem with your placing of Schnitz, your Taco Bell.
Okay.
And grilled. No.
Grilled at E?
You fucking hear me out for a second.
Okay.
Schnitz, Taco Bell, and grilled are not chips. They are seasoned potato bites.
Fuck
best.
off.
Chips are fucking potato and salt. Maybe chicken salt if you're feeling fancy, and I'll give Nando's a pass because Nando's peri peri salt is fucking incredible. But all those
peri peri salt a pass. But God forbid that it's seasoned with herbs and some other things.
Yeah, fuck that. Peri peri is like in its own fucking tier. Honestly, Nando's. Yeah, I have.
All right, that's not the definition of chip. That you have just made your own.
I reject your reality to substitute my own, son. Nando's deserves to be in its own fucking tier because peri peri chips are god tier, above S tier. And then, yeah, all those fucking like rustic chips that are like cooked until they're fucking nearly black and then covered in a bit of herb and some fucking paprika or whatever the fuck. No, not a chip. Macca's, Hungry Jack's, Oporto, KFC, Red Rooster, and unfortunately Subway. Those are chips. Those are fucking potato fried golden brown with salt. That is a chip.
I reject your whole argument about
all that other bullshit. All that other bullshit is just like rustic fucking potato, basically wedges at some point. Like Schnitz and Grilled are guilty of this themselves.Ose huge, massive, thick cut, goddamn like steak cut chips. No.
Yeah, just call it a chip.
Whatever.
No, that is you have you completely just decided to redefine the whole thing.
I have felt this way for a very, very long time. Not fucking not Ricki? Hashtag not my chips. Hashtag not my chips. All right.
You're allowed to have that opinion, Ricki. You're allowed to have that opinion, however wrong it is. Okay? However wrong it is, you're allowed to have that opinion.
Don't care.
All right. Like I said, Schnitz at S, I'm not budging on it. I'm not. No. However, I'm also not budging on fucking Grilled at E tier. Someone said to me, and they had the audacity.
Are basically the same fucking thing.
Oh, fuck off! Oh my God, no, they are not. They are. They could not be any fucking further from each other. Are you fucking kidding? Oh my God, Ricki, check your fucking self.
They are a shitty rustic cut, cooked way too fucking long, covered in herbs and bullshit.
You are out of pocket. You are out of pocket right now.
Am I wrong saying that I honestly, if you put Schnitz and Grilled chips in front of me, I couldn't tell the difference?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Couldn't.
But you are so out of fucking pocket right now. Are you fucked? Oh my God. Schnitz and Grilled cannot be any further apart from each other. They don't even look alike for starters. They don't taste anywhere near the same as each other. And like then Grilled is overcooked. Grilled is overcooked. They are fucking hard on the inside. Schnitz is perfect. It's perfectly golden brown on the outside and so mushy on the inside, but crispy on the outside. Maybe Ricki?
Maybe it's just the Schnitz that I go to that have these like overcooked, like nearly blackened chips. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like lumping them in with the rest of the Schnitzes in the world. Maybe that's my problem.
Oh, fuck you, Ricki. Fuck you. You're so out of line on this one. So out of line. John, you have something to say? I'm done talking to Ricki.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna let you two just kind of like wear each other out. Because I mean,
I've got more.
Fucking exhausted from having to listen to this dribble from Ricki. Are you Grilled and Schnitzel on the same fucking level? You're so fucking out of pocket for that.
And I would put them in about a seeded D tier, like next to each other. Yeah.
I'm not hearing this from you.
Yeah, no, you are. I'm sorry, man. I'm a purist. Chips is fucking potato and salt. That's it.
So, I mean, I got to go into this with one premise, and that is that I'm a large human, and like as a large human with a chip addiction, for me, I don't give a shit. Chips are chips. You give them to me, I'll eat them, because that's the kind of fat fuck I am. But what I am curious about, though, Dave, is your criteria, because it seems like a lot of your criteria is based on consistency. Are you getting, regardless of the experience, regardless of the preparation, regardless of the ingredients, are you getting the exact same thing from store to store? It feels like that's what you're judging this on.
That is one of the things I am judging. Albeit, I will admit, it is a highly weighted piece of criteria I'm using, that one. Yep. When I say consistency, when it comes to positions A to D.
Okay.
Well, overall, consistency is still key because Subway is consistently trash, obviously. So that's why it's at F tier. Consistency does factor in.
Right.
another thing that and like obviously the obvious ones being like, taste, mouthfeel, flavor profile, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Don't want to be too overpowering, don't want to be, not seasoned at all. Yep. That all falls into consistency as well. The other thing that I'm very much weighing and putting as my criteria, and it fucking definitely applies to goddamn grilled chips, is the chip itself has to stand alone. It should not be valued, or it should not be given priority, or be, heavily weighted with its pairing of condiments.
Okay.
I do not care for a pairing of condiment. Condiment should not have to make something better, because if it has to make something better, then it inherently says the initial thing is true.
Then why
that is what people have said to me with fucking grilled chips.
Then why do both grilled and schnitz offer you fucking dips for their chips?
They might offer me, but chips on their self stand alone. With grilled chips, but obviously
inherently somewhere in the corporate structure of schnitz, they came to a realization at some point that our chips aren't good enough to stand on their own. We have to offer them a dip to go with the chip. And if you have to offer a dip to go with the chip, you don't get S tier.
No one taking the schnitz condiments, right? Because the chip itself doesn't actually need it. It might have the ability. Same with nuggets. You can get fucking dips with nuggets, but you can also pair them with your fucking fries too. Yeah,
but every time I've been to Schnitz and ordered something, they've offered me, when they said,
God forbid that they offer you customer service, Ricki.
It's on it's literally on like the list of shit they do. It's like you get fucking whatever, your chicken in your wrap or burger or whatever, and then it's like, would you like, what dipping sauce would you like? It's part of the fucking experience.
My point, yes,
the experience is offering you a fucking
no. The experience is separate from the chip. The experience is separate from the chip. I'm not denying the
grilled and
industry.
Are the same thing. Grilled and
oh my god! I'm done talking to you, John. Please continue.
Okay, so I mean, you've both brought up, I think, some really valid points here in terms of kind of like the way you would like, and the thing is, the reason why I asked about criteria is because I feel like that's going to affect the way I would answer this question, and that is that,
and as it should, John,
The big move I would honestly make is that I think Taco Bell should be lower, and that's because while the chip itself, the potato is always consistently cooked through quite nicely. It's fluffy and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I don't like about it is the hand experience. So, like eating Taco Bell chips always leaves my hands extremely, extremely sticky. And it's a pain in the ass to get off, especially because unlike KFC, they don't offer wet wipes. So it's just you're there and you've got like 20 fucking tissues just to try and clean your hands. Like if you're eating Taco Bell at like 3:00 in the morning when you're half tanked anyway, it's like, who gives a fuck? But if you're just popping in for lunch before going back to work, it means that it's not as convenient an experience as a lot of these other fast food outlets. So
they are serial over seasoners of their chips.
Yeah.
Look, I will say, fair enough. All right, Taco Bell for me was a late addition to my tier.
Oh yeah, well,
because it's still a late. Ricki, shut the fuck up! I'm not fucking talking to you right now. All right, you're on a talking pad until I am finished. All right. Taco Bell is a late addition because to us it's just a late addition anyway. Yeah. We didn't get Taco Bell until like 3 months ago.
Yeah. Shouldn't even qualify.
Longer. All right. That is the only time I'll acknowledge you, Ricki. Fair enough. You can make the argument that Taco Bell should not qualify. But I'm making the case that if I had to include it, fair enough to your point that maybe it's not C. I could possibly put it side by side with KFC at D.
Well, I would put it at E with grilled and schnitz.
Yeah.
I still think it has. It's no. Okay. No. Grilled. If anything, if I had to change anything with my list, grilled would get its own tier just above Subway, and I'd probably move Red Rooster up to D.
I was going to say you've been a bit harsh on Red Rooster. I've had Red Rooster in the last week. Those chips are, basically the same as Hungry Jack's chips. There's not much of a difference, to be honest.
Agreed. Structurally, they're the same. I just think that they're not as seasoned as Hungry Jack's chips. So they would fall below a Hungry Jack's chip. You're right. I think I did disrespect them a little bit.
Yeah. If this list was like 2 years ago as well, when Hungry Jack's had their old chips, Hungry Jack's shouldn't even make the fucking list because they were trash. The fact they've gone to the thick cut chip and stopped trying to copy McDonald's is the smartest thing they ever did.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because their McDonald's like version of fucking shoestring fries there was a reason everybody on you and like we weren't blessed with a Hungry Jack's in Echuca. We are now, but back in the day, whenever we would come to Melbourne, it was like we get HJs because it's like the thing we didn't have in Echuca. Nobody I knew, and I reckon anybody you talk to in Echuca that ever had Hungry Jack's in Melbourne before we got a Hungry Jack's back home, never got chips with their meal. They always substituted out for the onion rings because the chips were just trash.
Well, if you look at my list,
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Crazy.
If you look at my list, all right, and I think to your point, Ricki, the top two are different, like Macca's to Shoestring, and fuck your stupid analysis of how you define a chip, Ricki, aside. The Shoestring at Macca's is A, and then S tier, they're a chip too, but they have their own style, right? Whether you call it the thick cut wedge style, all right, whatever you want to fucking call it, rustic wedge style, it's a chip, all right? It's what they serve alongside their main meal. It's a fucking chip, all right? They're different. And then from B to D and even E to a degree, they're all the same kind of chip. They're just a thick cut chip, right? So obviously they're in stark competition with each other.
I've obviously never had salsas.
No, salsas actually uses a crinkle cut chip. Okay. But it's still of that thicker kind of like, aside from this, the crinkled ridgesness of it, which is still good. It catches a lot of seasoning, which is why I gave it a B. Right? It's good to keep the seasoning on. Sometimes you pick up a chip and then like wiggle a little bit and the season will come off, which I didn't think it was. I didn't factor that in. But when it comes to salsas, that really plays a major part for their chip, though. That's like literally almost what they designed that crinkle cut for, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah, so they run a crinkle cut chip, but still, aside from ridges outside of it, it's still a rectangle and it's still kind of thick cut. So it falls in with all those other chips. There's a reason why Macca's is A and why Schnitz is S and why grilled is E. If you want to say grilled and Schnitz chips are fucking the same, which they're goddamn not, but I'll give into your goddamn argument for a second here just to disprove it. All right. If Schnitz and grilled are the same, then there's a damn reason why I put grilled at E and why it deserves to be at E is because Schnitz is the goddamn king at it. And it's like your point. Hungry Jack's tried to go at Macca's with the shoestring, realized it was fucking trash and changed. Grilled needs to realize that their fucking chips are trash too if they're going to, quote unquote, to your analogy, compete against a Schnitz chip because they're the same.
Well,
they're just so far inferior.
Okay, can I
jump
in
existed
here
before Schnitz.
Okay.
So, well, then they've lost that race then.
All right, can I jump in here real quick? I just want to jump in here when we're talking about grilled chips because...
Please.
So that was one of the ones I would actually... I'd like to make the argument to move up is grilled because I think... Well, and even then, actually, what we might do, I would say for grilled is grilled should actually be split into like two separate categories because they actually serve two different forms of chips. You've got your bog standard potato-based chip, which I tend to agree with is not a great chip. But they've also got sweet potato chips, which not sweet potato chips. What are they? They're fucking.
They're sweet potato. And John, to your point, when I was having this debate about grilled, I did say, and I should have put it as a little bit of an asterisk on this. I'm basing it on the potato, on what they would market as their main chip.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the fact that grilled obviously has a sweet potato. I didn't factor in the sweet potato at all. If I was going on sweet potato, it would fall into C because I do rate their sweet potato.
So the only reason why I would say, like, I'm generally not a fan of a sweet potato chip, like, at all. I'm just not a fan of sweet potatoes in general. But I gotta say, like, I like grilled sweet potato chips just because, like, it has made, like, I've been on a number of dates where the lady that I was with was like, hey, let's just get sweet potato chips and that's the thing we'll eat. And I'm like, fuck yeah, because that's way hella cheap. So like it makes that whole part of the date just like so much more inexpensive. So grilled is out here protecting my wallet with the sweet potato chips.
But that's all grilled is protecting your wallet for because everything fucking. We're not going to get into the entirety of grilled, just the chips. I'll forego that. But John, you're right. I do rate the sweet potato. It just wasn't what was being considered in the list.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. That's what, like, I would split that and be like, okay, well, actually, no, we don't even have to split it. If we just then made the blanket statement, okay, we are talking about their flagship product in terms of chips, then yes, okay, like we'll leave it at that. And then we'd have to make a whole separate list for like their like dedicated chip offerings. Yeah. That would be a different looking list, especially because you most of this list would disappear because most of these companies don't have dedicated chip offerings.
They don't exactly. That's why, to be fair for everyone else, I didn't factor in like like I could have gone shaker fries from Macca's. Obviously the sweet potato for grilled. Could have gone not Perry for Nando's.
No, I mean,
why would you?
Macca's
exactly. Right?
You sick man.
Macca's has fully loaded fries, which is basically just Australian poutine.
Oh, true, loaded fries as well, right?
So, like, that's what I mean. Like, you could that would kind of definitely kind of recolor this list for sure. So that's the only thing is like, I think for grilled we should just clarify that. KFC, I got to agree. I got to agree with Ricki. KFC, I feel like should be a little bit higher in the list. It's definitely not. It's definitely not A or S or A or B. No, absolutely not. But I think it is. I think it is actually a really solid C. Because I haven't experienced the inconsistency with KFC. I've eaten at multiple KFCs throughout my life, on multiple continents, and I've had pretty much the same chip experience the whole way through. I'm not seeing the same inconsistencies that y'all are, but then again, maybe I'm just not going to the bad KFCs. I don't know. Maybe I've just been extremely lucky my entire life.
Yeah, David.
Look, I think I have fucking validity in saying it because I have experienced shit. But in saying that, Ricki, I did say it when we were having our stupid fucking argument. If everything aligns, KFC can fall to an A or B tier because I have had great KFC chips. I have. I'm not denying it, but I've also had trash. So I've seen how it exists on the other side of the spectrum. But leveraging those two and averaging them out is where it falls. But like I said, A to D
there's no such thing as a bad KFC chip.
Oh no.
Well, no. That's not true. Like you can.
I've never had bad KFC chips.
For me, they're average. That's what I mean. Like that's why for me it's a solid C. It's like they are an average chip, and I'm okay with that. I like an average chip. There's nothing wrong with an average chip. Nah. I think Oporto.
Just the fact that they're below. I think the reason I'm angry right now is just the fact that they were below Taco Bell in general. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think they're better than Taco Bell for sure. Yeah, definitely.
If that's the only thing you're angry at, Ricki, I can accept that. Yeah. But it's not, is it?
No, there's other things I'm angry at.
All right.
I've also never heard of salsas until you put up this list. Like, I've just never heard of them. Where are salsas? Like, where do you go?
So they're like in that Mexican competing like taco area where it's like you got salsas, Guzman y Gomez, Taco Bell now, and I'm forgetting
Honcho in Mexico, and
Fonda if you want to put it in there, but I think Fonda's more
what's that
restaurant than fast food.
I know the one you're thinking of.
Mad Mex.
Mad Mex. Yeah.
Mad Mex.
Actually, Mad Mex should be on the list. Mad Mex do a good chip.
I will admit that I've never had a Mad Mex chip.
Okay.
My bad.
Seek it out. Get Mad Max's, get the burrito, top notch.
Got to get the burrito.
And yeah, got to get the burrito. It's really good. And then their chips. The chips are pretty damn good. There should be like another tier list of just like last 5-year Mexican pop-up chains and their chips.
Yeah. Well, Mad Mex is also.
There's been a lot.
Like, their staff are really well trained. Like I've had the exact same experience at like Southland as I have at Melbourne Central. Like as I have not Melbourne Central, at bloody Spencer Street. So like they've given like they've got a really good, solid, like consistent ordering experience right the way along, which is great. Like it's up there with
Mexican
McDonald's.
Subway. That's the best thing about it.
Oh yeah.
You just go in and you got like what burrito type or what vessel do you want?
Yeah.
Here's the meats, here's the salads.
Yeah.
Just pick and choose as you go. It's the best thing about Mad Mex.
Yeah, it's the closest Australia's got to Chipotle.
Yeah.
And Chipotle, though, having had Chipotle, like it is like Chipotle still shits all over Mad Mex. I will say that. Because Chipotle, holy, like you eat a Mad Mex burrito and you're like, yeah, I had a burrito, like I had a meal. You eat a Chipotle burrito and you feel like you just ate a baby. Like, holy fuck. They don't fuck around. They make them dense. Them some dense motherfuckers. Holy shit. But that also might be because it is in America and like portion sizes are larger. Like I noticed that when the one time I went to Burger King in America just because like it was around the corner from my hotel and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I could go. Like, let's try it. Why not? And I went over there and just got my regular meal. And my regular meal at Hungry Jack's at this time was a large Whopper meal. And so I got a large Whopper meal, and in America, it's a lot larger. And I was like, oh, I fucked up. This is way more food than I wanted.
You should have gotten a small.
Yeah. Well, no, what I should have gotten was a regular. That's a large over there. Well, our large is their regular. So that's what I should have gotten, and that would have been what I wanted. Ugh, I can't remember where I was going with that with the Burger King statement.
I will say be on the lookout because the next tier listing I want to do, especially in the culinary world, is I want to do one based on best to have after a sesh. So best food to consume.
If fucking KFC is not S tier, you're gonna hear from me.
Yeah, the greasier the better, I think, for that.
Yeah, grease factor plays highly. It is definitely in the criterion.
Yeah,
but KFC is probably not going to be S tier, but it will rank highly because I'm factoring in the totality of the menu at that point.
See, okay, the thing you have to, one of the criteria you need to include for next day.
Oh yeah.
Right, is can I let it sit there for 2 hours while I pass out again, wake up, and then keep eating?
That is 100% of the criteria. When I'm thinking of the post-sesh food, I'm thinking but it encompasses both that 3 a.m. meal being that meal, as well as the one, let's say I wake up at 9 a.m. after and I bought that meal the night before and I just haven't consumed it. Those are two weighted pieces of criteria.
Is it still edible 3 hours later? Yeah, that has to be like top criteria.
The most interesting thing to me about all those kinds of lists, though, would be like the pre-sesh meal. And it's funny because somebody was like, before you go out and like get on the sesh, what you should do is eat a Subway. And I was like, are you serious? Like, get a sub at Subway. He's like, dude. Like, that's
carb it, dude.
Carb it. And I was like, okay. And that's all I've done ever since. And fuck, it works. So
get that bread, soak up the alcohol.
Yeah.
All that bullshit.
Holy shit, it's great. But with that, we'll leave it there. I want to thank my guests for joining me for this discussion, debate. I don't know.
No contempt from me from that final point. Nothing but contempt for Ricki.
At certain points in this episode, I definitely felt like Jerry Springer. Like I definitely felt like I was in his shoes momentarily there. So I want to thank my guests today, Ricki Needs and David Young. Boys, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome and
no worries.
You. I just completely I can't do words good. I don't know, for some reason my ability to speak English is like disappearing out from under me right now. So I better wrap this up quick then. If you like this episode, please tell 2 friends in 2020. Check us out on Instagram at pint.party, and you can also follow us on Twitter at Pint Party. Instagram is like, if you want to hear about when the podcast is coming out and all of our gimmicks and memes and shit like that, like that's all on Instagram. But if you want to hear about stuff like, just the podcast, but also like when we're going live on Twitch. So follow us at twitch.tv/Pint Party, where I'm there on Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays from 2 to 4:30 p.m. playing video games. At the moment, I'm currently playing through Exapunks, which is like the Dark Souls of programming-based video games. And if you don't want to watch it live, if you're just looking for something to put on in the background while you're working from home, which is what the stream's all about, you can also check us out on YouTube. If you just search Pint Party on YouTube, you can go there, and you can, besides that, every episode of the podcast, except for episode 5, for weird fucking reason, isn't on our YouTube channel. I gotta sort that out. You can also, there's a couple of playlists there, which with like, honest to God, like at this point, I'm pretty sure there's now about 50 hours worth of content in the Exapunks playlist alone. So if you're just looking for something to put on in the background, there is more than enough there to, keep you tided over for the entire workday. And with that, this has been Pint Party. Cheers.
Cheers.
This podcast is part of the Hartefact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to hartefactstudios.com.au.